Everybody's looking at Aaron Rodgers. Everybody's looking at Tua to see if he stays healthy. Everybody's looking at everybody else, and the Bills could just go into training camp, do what they need to do, and win football games.
The Buffalo Bills, probably the favorite. Well, no, definitely the favorite to win this division.
Can I say something about the Bills though? Before we start,
Yeah,
I'm so glad that they're flying under the radar.
Right now,
there's so much attention on the Jets and the Bills in training camp, and so many other teams like the Bengals, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. Like finally in Josh Allen's career, there's less pressure than there was before.
Less hype.
The Bills came in last season and they were the favorites to come out of the AFC. So coming into this season, I mean, on paper, the team's amazing. Josh Allen's a top 3 quarterback in the league, and not all the eyes are on them. Not all the pressure is on them. Everybody's looking at Aaron Rodgers. Everybody's looking at Tua to see if he stays healthy. Everybody's looking at everybody else, and the Bills could just go into training camp, do what they need to do, and win football games and not have all this hype around them. And I think that'll help them, and that'll go a long way for Josh Allen.
So their over-under win total is 10.5. I'm assuming. Are we all going to take the over?
I'm taking the over.
Yeah. Smashing the over on that.
I am as well. Chris, you. Oh, boy.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'll take the over, but barely, like at 11 wins.
I have them at 12. I have them going 12-5 this season.
I have them going 13-4.
I could see that as well. All right. So obviously I'm a big Josh Allen believer, and I'm a Buffalo Bills fan outside of being a Giant fan because, the other New York team outside of the Jets. I just can't say I'm a Jet fan too because you can't do that.
Yeah,
you can't do it. I think this team is getting severely underrated going into this season by a lot of media outlets and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that they're looking at the Bills as they're just, wow, they're falling off and stuff like that. And honestly, at first, before looking at the roster, before looking at the schedule and all of that, I thought the same thing. I thought, wow, the Bills might fall off a little bit this season. They might not even finish in first place. Then I looked at the roster and I was like, wait a second. Somehow they lost Tremaine Edmonds, but their entire team in a way got better, which terrifies me because I think this might be the best and most well-rounded Bills team that we've seen to this point of their run. And that's a great thing for them. I think adding Dalton Kincaid is huge. I think it adds a whole nother element to their offense. You're going to be able to run a bunch of 2 tight end sets. And while Dawson Knox and Kincaid are very valuable receivers in the passing game, Knox is a good blocker. Gabe Davis, you hope. Here's the big thing about Gabe Davis. I expected a huge breakout from him last season. Obviously, a lot of people did as well. He let down as opposed to his expectations. But one thing that wasn't mentioned enough, he suffered an injury in week 1 of the season. The first week of the season, Gabe Davis got hurt. And from that point on, he was dealing with the injury for the remainder of the season. Am I saying that he's going to have his big breakout? Not necessarily, but I do expect a better season from him. The defense has arguably the best and most well-rounded pass rush right next to the 49ers and the Eagles. Those 3 teams have arguably the best pass rushes in the entire NFL. And I'm expecting an improved secondary too. You have Elam coming into his second year, which usually means good things for corners. And Trey White is now another year removed from his injury. So I'm expecting him to be close to back to form. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, if the 2 of them are healthy, best safety duo in the NFL. And it's just, I think it might be their year. I don't know.
I could definitely see it being their year. I mean, and all you've been hearing at a training camp is everything about Dalton Kincaid. He's been
insane.
I've heard he's been
really good.
I mean, if they can get a 2 tight end, Dawson Knox and him going
with
this
Gabe
season,
and Stephon Diggs,
it's over for the rest of the division. I mean, it really is. Like they're really so good in every facet of the game. It's going to be really tough to stop them.
And Damian Harris is also fire.
They're really scared.
James Cook is going to be really good this season.
I think he's huge to unlocking what this offense can do.
The fact that he went as late as he did,
because the Bills' running game is always very inconsistent.
Yeah, I don't believe in James. I like James Cook, the player. I don't believe in James Cook in this system. Their O-line isn't good.
No, it's a good offensive line for the really pass blocking. Pass blocking,
they were
wise.
bottom 6 in the league in pass blocking and run blocking according to PFF.
It's improved. It's a solid off. They
like obviously with Josh Allen, you don't need the best O-line because it's fucking Josh Allen. But in terms of a running back putting up numbers, like the run blocking isn't really going to be there. They're never going to be able to run the ball. And, James Cook is a really good receiver, but there's a lot of he's not going to be one of the focal points of the offense. Like, he'll be fine.
He could end up
I
turning
don't
into
agree
that.
with that.
I don't think so. Josh Allen likes to swing the rock. Josh Allen doesn't throw the ball underneath.
But that's not even the thing. I think Damian Harris helps you as well. I'm not saying he's a better runner of the football than you could argue Devin Singletary. James Cook is most definitely a better runner of the football than Devin Singletary. Here's the thing. So James Cook had 93 carries last season, 7 short of actually qualifying for the league lead in any of the rushing categories. He averaged 5.7 yards per carry on those runs and had the best breakaway rate of any running back in the entire
He
NFL.
was great last year. I just think
More carries? I'm not saying no for James Cook.
I just
and
don't
Damian
know if
Harris,
that's always a solution. I just don't know if giving him bell cow work is going to.
No, he's not going to get that. He's not big enough.
The running backs are definitely going to get more work just based off the fact that they want Josh Allen to be running less.
Yes.
And less aggressively as he's been running.
Right, but I think that hurts them as a team.
It does. No, I agree. Yeah.
Like, James Cook is a good player, but I don't think he's great, and I don't think the O-line is good. I think the O-line is definitely bottom half of the league. So taking the pressure off Josh Allen, yes, it saves him from being injured and whatnot, but it doesn't help the team. The team is better off when Josh Allen is being magical and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
when Josh Allen is making plays, that's when they're at their best.
The goal is to keep your franchise quarterback.
Right, no, for sure. Like, in that, I agree with, but I'm just saying, the Bills, it's just hard for me to see it with them. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, they're always going to just be relying on Josh Allen.
Probably.
At the end of the day, it's just about, can Josh Allen take you there? So, yeah, they'll be able to win regular season games. That's why I would have been a fool to take the under on them, but I just don't I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender, honestly.
I feel like come playoff time, he will run more, though, because they want to save him for the playoffs.
That's kind of pretty much what they'd be doing in this case. Yes, they would open up the playbook a bunch more in terms of how Josh Allen runs in the playoffs.
That's if taking the pressure off him in the regular season pays dividends for him. Because if they start losing games, then they're going to just give him more and more work. And Josh Allen, I hate to say this for as great as he is, but his decision making at times could be questionable and it could cost them.
Yeah.
Like I said on the quarterback episode,
he's a gunslinger.
One of 2 quarterbacks over the past 2 seasons to have 50 or more fumbles and interceptions. And the other one is Matt Ryan. And it was so bad for Matt Ryan that it drove him away from the sport.
Yeah.
He hung up the cleats and retired.
He said, I think he said something recently about the last 18 months of his career being an absolute clusterfuck.
Well, it was.
It definitely was.
He's not wrong.
He said he chooses to forget that.
I hate to be that guy, but I just don't see it. I think the Jets and the Dolphins are both better than the Bills.
I disagree.
I think they're better teams. I think Josh Allen is definitely the best quarterback of the bunch. So Josh Allen could win a game versus both those teams just on his back. But as a team, I think the other 2 teams are better. I think the other 2 teams have better defenses.
I don't agree with that either.
I think the Bills have the worst defense in that.
I just don't agree.
It's not about the Bills' defense being bad. I think that all the other defenses are just that much better.
They arguably
all top
have
10
the best pass rush of the 3 teams.
I think their pass rush is fluky.
I don't.
And is Von Miller healthy?
That's the big question right now. That is
because they were great when he was healthy last year, but then he got hurt. And Von Miller is in the tail end of his career, so we're probably not expecting him to come back and be that. But
you don't need him to be that.
If Greg Rousseau and Ed Oliver keep taking these leaps, then sure.
It's not even just that. You signed Leonard Floyd, who's another guy that can add.
Too.
He's consistently, he's not washed though. He was good on the Rams last year. He's consistently been a solid 8 or 9 sack producer in every season of his career. I mean, I'm just saying there's waves of this. They have Shaq Lawson. They have AJ Epineza. They have obviously the guys that you just mentioned. I think there's so much talent on that defensive front and then so much talent on the back end of the defense that you're going to figure it out. And Matt Milano is arguably one of the top 5 linebackers in the NFL too. So
Von Miller has a chance to play week 1.
If he doesn't come back week 1, I'm not concerned. Get him healthy for mid-season.
I think it's always concerning starting the season with an injury.
Yes, for sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah, that goes for anybody.
That's what
you go into the season not healthy, you're not coming out of that season healthy.
Especially at his age, bro.
Yeah.
I
He's
just
been only,
don't
what, 9
believe
years?
in that. I just don't believe in the pass rush.
Hey man, if you're right, you're right. But
Yeah, I just like the Jets and the Dolphins. They have these superstar mega stars in the middle of their defensive line. Quentin Williams and Christian Wilkins. The Bills don't have that. They do have a nice unit. Like I'm not disagreeing with that. They have some guys there, but I think they're missing the guy.
yeah, I get it.
Ed Oliver's a good player. Like what Greg Rousseau has been good. Epineza probably takes another step this year in his second year. And I like Elam too. Like the secondary is great.
Yeah,
I have no questions about their secondary. Their secondary is great. They could compete with anyone. And I think losing Edmonds is going to hurt a little bit. Because yes, Matt Milano is great, but those two guys were on the field for the majority, like together for the majority of the time.
no, it's tough. They will not be able to fill those shoes. It's just not going to happen. He was one of the best linebackers in the league last year, but
I don't know.
I think they're a Super
My
Bowl
gut's
contender.
just telling me that the Bills take a slight step back. The division got better. They have a bunch of aging guys on that defense that I think take a step back. They do have young guys on the defense too.
So many.
But they have a bunch of important key pieces
The two
that are
safeties,
aging.
namely. The two safeties.
You have Von Miller. You just made a signing for Leonard Floyd, who's aging.
Yeah, but you're not relying on Leonard Floyd to be that guy. That's the thing. So I don't know. I personally think this team's a Super Bowl contender. I think there's 3 Super Bowl contenders in this division.